We're in the great city of Memphis, Tennessee for the next 4 days, and right across from historic Beale Street is the FedEx Forum, site for what should be an outstanding basketball tournament as we welcome you to Champ Week, presented by Principal and the Air Force Reserve American Athletic Conference Men's Basketball Championship. First game of 4 today, the number 8 seed USF Bulls taking on the number 9 seed UConn Huskies. The teams split the regular season series, and then whoever wins here today gets the number 1 seed Houston Cougars tomorrow in the quarterfinals. Great to be with you, everyone. Welcome to Memphis. Mike Corey and Tim Welsh, excited to get this tournament started. And how about the season it's been this year in the American?
Mike Corey, you've witnessed it up close and personal. This is an elite conference with the 4 teams at the top probably going to the tournament. And you've got Memphis coming in their home court, in their building. Very, very difficult to play against. And the storylines just keep building for this league year after year. We'll see USF today. But first, let's talk about Houston. What an incredible dream season. Look for Kelvin Sampson's team to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament. And don't forget about Cincinnati. Once again, they will be there next Sunday in Selection Sunday. UCF and Temple as well. And Memphis, watch out for them this weekend. Jeremiah Martin can go get 40 any night. They could be a sleeper.
First off here today, the UConn Huskies and the USF Bulls. And how about Jalen Adams? Came back last game versus ECU, and they need him 1-6 without Adams this season. It's a struggle when he's not in the lineup.
He is absolutely the most talented player on UConn. Some nights doesn't show up. He's now healthy. He played a good game against East Carolina on the weekend. Dan Hurley is going to ride Jalen Adams today and through this tournament.
Our officials today, Joe Lindsay, Zelton Steed, and Vladimir Voyard-Tadal, as we're underway from the Forum. Let's take a look at our Air Force Reserve starting lineups here. First for USF. Some talented players on this year's team for Brian Gregory, and a team that had a win improvement of 9 from a year ago.
No surprise from this man right here that Brian Gregory is already winning at USF. That's all he's done throughout his career. First at Dayton, had Georgia Tech on the verge of turning the corner, then was let go, and USF is lucky to have him. He is a winner.
Michael Durr gets the scoring started. Here's your starting 5 for the UConn Huskies, with Adams back in the lineup for the 2nd game in a row.
He'll play the point, and he really distributed the ball very, very well on Sunday against East Carolina. He'll get everybody involved, but when they need a bucket, he'll do that. He'll go to the rim.
Not there that time. Rebound by Yetna for USF. Deflected. Terrence Smith. And it's tracked back down by David Collins.
I talked to Brian Gregory earlier today. He was very concerned about turning the ball over. They win with defense, and if they turn the ball over, that will not allow them to set up their stingy half-court man-to-man.
Collins. Burrido for 3. Got it.
Rideau had his feet set, and they've got to do a better job, UConn, of getting up into Rideau. Playing with a little bit of an injury, did not play in their last regular season game. Have to keep an eye on him and his minutes today.
5-0 start for the Bulls. Polly thought about the 3, then got it knocked away. Collins again. 3-ball, Justin Brown. That's it, an ad rebound, Carlton.
Big time rebound by Carlton, but UConn has to be aware they've got to pass the ball, move around, hit the open man.
Terrence Smith, and the first points for the Huskies here today.
That's what UConn has to do. They've got to push the ball up the court and get the ball quickly changed from side to side before USF sets their defense.
Collins, rejected by Carlton.
Well, what can you say about Josh Carlton? He has improved day to day, month to month, and in the last couple weeks has been an elite scorer on the low box for UConn.
Coach Gregory and the job that he's done from last year. Really 2 guys only in David Collins and Justin Brown from last year's team that have had the significant minutes this season. It's been a complete overhaul.
Well, he's doing it the right way. He's getting young kids. He's developing them. He's got great assistant coaches who work hard on individual improvement, and they play rock solid, tough man-to-man defense.
Most wins in 7 years for this program. A 3-ball is good by David Collins. And the Bulls are off to the hot start here early.
Well, really just poor communication by UConn, allowing Collins just to kind of get a 2 count before he teed it up. And there you see the improvement. And again, no surprise that Brian Gregory is winning early at USF.
That +9, as you saw, tied for 4th best in the nation, Division I in turnaround. Smith gets the bounce.
That's a tough shot by Terrence Smith, and it's kind of his game right there. He doesn't shoot the ball very well from the outside, but he's a strong driver to the rim.
Oh, nice pass from Rito inside, and it's Durr for the easy dunk.
Well, another miscommunication on the pick and roll, and 2 went with the ball, and Durr was wide open at the rack.
Adams comes out that 13-point, 12-assist game just a few days ago at ECU in the regular season finale. And now again, it's Terrence Smith. And that's a 3. He's got all of UConn's points here to start.
Well, again, we talked about only a 22% three-point shooter, but had his feet set, playing confident early.
Fast start here, the first game of the first round of the American Athletic Conference Championship. Winner gets the #1 seed, Houston, tomorrow. Out of bounds on the baseline is Durr. And how about Dan Hurley? He knows it's going to take a little bit of time here at UConn to get his stuff in place. First year.
Well, the record is not what you wanted, what Dan Hurley wanted, but the effort has been there. And if you really watch their team throughout the conference season, they were in most every game, even against the elite in this league. And that just shows you his determination as a coach. The talent level is not there yet, but it's also really got a lot out of Carlton and Polley as sophomores, and shown a lot of improvement with those 2.
Got a really good nucleus inside to build from for those 2 that you just mentioned. And this is out of bounds to USF. Our first timeout of the day. We'll be right back. 10-7. USF leads it here early. 4 minutes gone by in the first from Memphis.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the Air Force Reserve. Start your adventure with the Air Force Reserve. And Mountain Dew. Do the do.
How about the awards of the American Athletic Conference this season? Jaron Cumberland, the Player of the Year. Kelvin Sampson for the Houston Cougars, and the Coach of the Year. You're watching these 2 here today, Yetna and Rito. How about the Freshman of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, both for the USF Bulls?
Well, it just tells you what Brian Gregory is building at USF, and they're built to last. They've got a young basketball team. Napier Louis has really led tempo, and Josh Carlton, he has become an elite scorer in the last few games for Connecticut, and the guy just has improved his footwork, his confidence, his ability to carve out space around the rim, catch the ball, keep it up high, and finish in traffic.
Carlton has had 41 points and 17 rebounds in the last 2 games for the UConn Huskies. And he has just been special. And this guy as well, just a junior Defensive Player of the Year for USF. And Yetna, the Rookie of the Year, averaging over 12 points and almost 10 rebounds a game. It'll be exciting to have him for another 3 years.
Wow. They speak a different language in Paris, France, but Yetna speaks one language. He can get up on the glass. What a good-looking freshman. But Rito is an interesting player today because he's been playing with a leg injury, and he has not started the game on Jalen Adams. They want to put him on Adams, but they're trying to kind of save him for the second half when the game's on the line.
Here's Yetna as it goes inside for Durr. Good early shooting here. USF 4 of 7, UConn 3 of 4. First foul of the day. Called on Carlton.
That time Carlton let Durr just get some good low post position down low, and you see Yetna just a 6'8", 230. Power, finesse, athletic. Somebody to build your program around.
17 and 13 in the last game for USF. It's pretty impressive.
Interesting now how Carlton plays Durr. That time he got caught dead behind him. He's got to do a better job of wrapping around him and defending him down low. And if he does get that low post position, I'd look for UConn to maybe send a double at Durr. He's not a really good passer.
Durr also a freshman for USF. They've got 3 that they played significant minutes this season for the Bulls and Coach Gregory. He's already got 6 points here as they lead it by 5 early.
Well, they beat UConn up on the glass. Both games, they split the 2 games, but one thing was a constant is that USF really beat UConn up on the offensive glass.
Adams comes off the Carleton screen. Carleton got it knocked away and stolen.
Well, that is not Josh Carleton's game. Take the ball from the foul line and try to dribble the basketball.
Rito certainly knows how to pick people's pockets. His 81st steal of the season for USF. And it's right back the other way. Adams on the step back three. And that's going to be a foul on Carleton, and that's going to be his second. And that's not good news for UConn here early.
It's not, and you could see USF is just rock solid defensively. It starts with this man right here, LaQuincy Rito. He is really good on the ball, and he's terrific off the ball as well. He anchors and quarterbacks their defense.
Conference record for steals versus Temple. He had 10 back in early January. How about what that's going to do right now for UConn with Carleton on the bench with the 2 fouls?
Well, it hurts them more on the defensive end than the offensive end, because Eric Cobb is a pretty good offensive player, but he is not a good defender.
The senior checked in for Carleton. Now it's Durr. Nope, traveling violation. Got to love the energy from Coach Hurley on the sidelines, though, for UConn, right? Coming in and trying to revamp this program.
Trying to revamp it. There's not a lot of people in the building yet. It's starting to fill up as the Memphis game looms. But you can hear Dan. He's barking out orders to his players, his assistant coaches, and, of course, the officials.
This is game 1 of 4 today. You've got the number 5 seed Memphis Tigers taking on number 12 Tulane. That's in game 2 coming up right after us.
Well, it's very difficult, Mike, to beat this USF defense off the bounce. You've got to use a lot of passing, a lot of player movement, and try to move the ball before the defense moves. But off the bounce, it's a no-no.
Nice look for 3 from Adams, and that's his first points today, and UConn's within 2.
That's on USF-like. On the rotation, Adams was wide open, and that was some miscommunication, and Adams made a pay.
Rito floats it up, trying to get down and Yetna. And he gets the bounce.
You can see Brian Gregory is a smart coach. There's a double dribble that was missed by the officials. And Brian Gregory is going right at Cobb, and Jalen Adams going right at USF.
How about that? Terrence Smith scored the first 7 points for the Huskies. Adams has the last 6 on back-to-back threes.
He picked his dribble up and then put it back down. That's a double dribble in any language. The officials missed it, and Adams starting to feel it from the perimeter.
He took advantage. Here's a 3 the other way for USF, but that's way off by Yetna. Adams for Polley. He could shoot that. That's how dangerous he's going to be for years to come, right? Tyler Polley, 6'8", sophomore, can play inside and out. He's hit 53s on the year.
He's really improved. He's got to be able to put the ball on the floor a little bit better moving forward. But Jalen Adams really taking over this game on the offensive end, doing a nice job scoring and also pushing the ball, finding the open man.
1-point game here in game 1 of 4 today from Memphis. Winner gets the number 1 seed Houston Cougars tomorrow. And another foul on UConn.
Now Jalen Adams directs traffic. You talked about the 12 assists he had against East Carolina, and he is going to run the show. Played most of the season at the 2 guard, but he has really distributed the ball well in the last couple of games. He can knock shots in from the outside. If he gets his feet set, he is real dangerous. And you know, it has to be mentioned that Alterique Gilbert is not with the team because he is so valuable. And talking about UConn's record, we talked about earlier about the effort and how close they are, but they've also really had a dearth of injuries all season long.
Look at these ranks for Jalen Adams in the American Athletic Conference all time coming into today. Going to miss a lot when he departs at the end of this season by second violation.
Now Brian Gregory not happy with the movement or execution on that baseline out of bounds, and that's very un-USF-like. They turn it over too much, but usually not on the baseline out. So that's good defense by UConn, though.
4 turnovers for each team here early. UConn starting to catch a little bit of rhythm here. 5 of the last 7 have gone down from the field. Here's Cobb, who's in for Carleton. That's a travel. Yep, you just saw that. Make it 5 turnovers now here early.
Another unforced error. Eric Cobb looks a little, maybe a little sleepy here with a noon tip. He's not come in with that energy needed off the bench yet.
Yeah, he played in 3 minutes in the last game for the Huskies. definitely need his services here today. We'll have to see when they bring Carlton back in. The 2 personals with just over 12 minutes to go. Collins picked up his dribble, got it inside, and the hook from Antun Maricevic.
Maricevic is doing a nice job on the pick and roll, and that time just flashed right into the low post. And again, Brian Gregory going right at Eric Cobb. So Danaher's got to make a choice here. He wants to protect Carlton, but the bigs from USF are starting to dominate.
Adams here up top now for Sidney Wilson. And there's a foul underneath on the Bulls. Takes us to another timeout. We'll be right back. 3-point lead, USF. Back with more in a moment.
Whatever you need Zion to do, he can do. And that's the difference. Oh, my God.
In order to win a championship, you have to be outstanding. If Zion's healthy, we'll have a chance.
He's back, everyone, and he's ready for the New York Life ACC tournament coming your way here real soon. I can't wait to see what this ends up being with him back in the lineup for Duke.
Oh, and the Dukies will be out in full force. The game is in Charlotte. Tyus Battle looks like he's out again for Syracuse, but they've got the secret weapon in Buddy Boeheim for the Orange, and Zion is definitely not a secret. He has been publicized. It's good to see him back.
Yeah, a little bit of a point differential, right? Without him in the lineup there.
You know, it's interesting, though. They lost the first game, Syracuse, with Zion. They won the second game without him. But without Battle, it's going to be a long, long haul for the Cuse tonight. But it's tournament time. But it's great to see him back, though. I wondered if he was going to come back in the ACC. I thought they may even hold him out till the NCAAs. But he's ready to roll. Speaking of that, Jalen Adams, very impressed with his comeback. At some point, they said earlier in his injury, then on cue and knocks in another one that he may not make it back for the tournament, but he came back for the last game, and he looks in real good rhythm.
Oh, yes, he is back. 9 points, 3 of 4 from three-point range here for the Huskies as they've tied it at 16. And Rito is fouled. It's on Terrence Smith. That's his first today for UConn. Yeah, I mean, because I just saw Adams on Sunday at UConn in the regular season finale. He didn't show any signs of an injury in that game, and certainly not here today as well.
Well, you know, when you heard about the injury, you thought, well, you know, he's a senior, maybe he won't want to risk coming back and that type of thing. So you give the kid all the credit in the world. And we're at the game in Dallas against SMU, and he was with the team, and he worked his tail off with the trainer and the strength and conditioning staff on the day of the game. You could see he was bound and determined to come back.
5 to shoot. Kerr working his way in, foul on the floor. And it's on Isaiah Whaley, and that's his first.
Man, Kerr, you've got to make him a shooter. You got to get up, get off him, and give a little help, because that's what he wants to do. He wants to dribble drive and get all the way to the rim.
$20 on the shot clock now. Castaneda gets it back. Kicks it. Good mid-range shot for Durr. Not there. Offensive rebound for the Bulls.
Again, that's their MO. They averaged 17 offensive rebounds in the 2 games against UConn. UConn has to do a better job of their guards getting back into play.
Rito again for Durr, and he lost it. It's off his leg, out of bounds to UConn. And the Huskies have a chance to take the lead, and it's been all Terrence Smith and Jalen Adams here to start, right, Tim?
Now their guards are what keys UConn, and Christian Vitale has yet to do much. Not in the game now, but he can light them up as well. If he and Adams start making threes, it'd be a long day for USF.
Only one other shot was taken by another player other than those 2 here so far in 10 minutes. And that'll stay the case. Adams misses. There's the follow, though, by Whaley, and he puts it in.
Isaiah Whaley already passing his scoring average. Averages 1 a game. Good offensive rebound, but right back at you, USF. And that's disheartening for UConn.
Rito ties it at 18. Previously, USF had 6 assists on their 6 made baskets.
That was a good push by Redo. He didn't look hurt on that play. He is powerful and explosive.
Adams off a pair of screens for Polley. And Smith is fouled. It's Mayan Kerr with his first.
Well, Isaiah Willie's done a pretty good job. He's been a bit player pretty much all season long, but Dan Hurley with the foul trouble has gone with him instead of Eric Cobb at the 5 and paying dividends with some good energy at the rim.
He only averaging about 3 minutes a ball game in the 21 that he played previously to today. And Adams gets a rest. Christian Vital is in for the first time today for UConn. They throw it back to him in the backcourt.
But both coaches, I think, Mike, are doing a very nice job of using their bench early. In a tournament type setting, you want to get your bench into the flow, into the action, get a sweat, see who's ready to play. I think both coaches have done a good job here in the first 11 minutes.
What did you try to do when you were coaching in these type of tournaments? Do you try to plan ahead a little bit like that, like you just mentioned? Or, wow, what a shot here from Vital. Part of me hits a 3.
Dan Hurley looks at Vital and says, excuse me, that's not a good shot, but we'll take it. But anyway, yeah, you have to have a plan, but you have to have a B, a C, and a D plan as well, because once the game tips and in the flow of the game, you have to make adjustments on the fly.
Yetna and some traffic down low. A fight for the rebound of the ball, loose ball. They're going to call a foul on UConn. And that's on Vital, who just drained that long-range 3. And Charlie not agreeing, to say the least.
Glass is still on, shirt still tucked in. All good signs.
Yes. There was a play earlier this year with UConn. It was a shot clock violation, or wasn't quite, because his team got the rebound in 1 second. The clock expired. They may have taken it out of bounds. It was on a fast break. Glasses came off. Jacket came off.
It looked like Dan Hurley circa 1990s playing for PJ Carlissimo at Seton Hall. He still had that good lateral movement.
Jump ball on the rebound, and the possession arrow favors UConn.
Many guys can say they played for 2 top-level coaches in the same program, and that's what Dan did at Seton Hall, and with both PJ and the great George Blaney as well. And I remember him as a player. He was a tough cat. Everybody thinks of his brother first as a great player, but listen, Dan was a good player in his own right at Seton Hall.
Coach Hurley will get out there and practice, too. He'll be out there practicing with the team.
Still gets after it a little bit.
Vital, another 3, count it again. He's fired up. It's a 6-point lead for the Huskies.
Boy, very surprised USF is not on Vital on the catch, and Brian Gregory wants to discuss, because that's not the type of defense that they've hung their hat on all season long.
UConn is on a 17-6 run.
A hot, cold man here. You give him that. It is lights out. Vital playing with confidence.
Top 4 seeds take the floor tomorrow here in Memphis, Tim.
Can't wait. The big time will be here, and it starts with Houston, Cincinnati. Temple with a resurgence at the end. Great win over UCF, and then the big fella Taco Fall will be dominant in the paint for Johnny Dawkins.
The Houston Cougars await the winner of this game here today between USF and UConn in this Air Force Reserve American Athletic Conference Championship from Memphis, Tennessee. And of course, the Cougars are in the house here looking on, and the Coach of the Year, Kelvin Sampson. What a job they did this season. Big win over Cincinnati to close out the regular season, and now hoping to win the conference championship this weekend.
And what a job. Not surprised either that Kelvin has got Houston back at the top of the mountain. And the man to his right, if I was an athletic director, I would be dialing that guy up as my next head coach. That's his son, Kellen Sampson, who is Kelvin's assistant and just a tremendous basketball coach in his own right, and he's learned from the best. And I'd call that guy up tomorrow and hire him.
No doubt. It only took them really a year down there in Houston. They got their renovated arena in the Fertitta Center. Over 7,000 fans. They pack that every night. It's been one outstanding season for them.
Well, people forget that they were couple missed free throws and a Hail Mary 3 by Michigan to get in the Sweet 16 a year ago.
Right.
He's just built the program the right way. He's got a lot of depth now and young, good players.
Collins taking contact. And a rebound by Whaley. Good start to this game for him for UConn. Smith for 3. Count it again, and UConn is already at their season average of 3-pointers. They've hit 7 in this first half.
And just wide open, and Brian Gregory just throws his hands up in the air like, what are we doing on defense? 2 defenders ran to Christian Vitale and left Terrence Smith wide open.
And what a crazy turnaround from the last meeting when they played USF on March 3rd. They were 0 for 15, Tim, from three-point range.
There's a man, Jalen Adams, that was in street clothes that day as well. But they're playing aggressive defense. They're battling USF on the boards. They're pushing the ball, and they're reversing the ball. Look up. They push the ball up the court. 2 defenders run right to Vitale and leave Terrence Smith wide open.
6 turnovers for USF here early. That hasn't helped them. They're down by 9. And it's UConn possession with 7 minutes to go first half.
They gave UConn credit, though, because they're pushing the ball. They're confusing USF because they're pushing it and they're running to spots of space in the floor. And USF is not communicating running back.
Vitale for Whaley. Off the backboard. It's all working for them right now, right?
Sometimes it's your day. And that's not what Isaiah Whaley does, but he just did it.
Only his
Baker.
13th point of the season. They're making his 15th point of the season. That's happening because Josh Carlton is on the bench with 2 personal fouls for the Huskies.
This is all gravy for Dan Hurley. He goes to Isaiah Whaley, and sometimes you have the magic touch as a coach, and you just have a feel about somebody can give you some energy and a lift, but usually not scoring. Isaiah Whaley not only scoring, but really battling in the paint on defense.
Terrence Smith just picked up his 2nd personal foul as well, so he goes to the bench. And Coach Hurley's got Sidney Wilson in now.
Here's where USF should be taking advantage because you've got some spot bench players. Wilson plays about 19 minutes a game, not a really good defender. Whaley doesn't play at all, not known for his defense or rebounding. So USF should take advantage in the lane and in the paint and then start guarding on the perimeter. They got to really check towards Vitale and Adams, and then everybody else they can help off.
Now the first free throw anyway stopped an 11-0 UConn run as the Huskies have hit their last 5 from the field.
Another job on that possession. USF got back and they were up into Polley on the catch.
Adams call the foul. It'll be on Collins for USF. Just a little different though, right, Tim? When you get here for conference tournament time, the coaches talk about the seasons. There's the first half of the year, the second half, and now this season when you get to the conference championship, and just a little bit extra when you get here, right?
That's what Dan Hurley said. He told us, he said, listen, I'm going to be more amped, more animated. I said, excuse me, how can that be possible? Where can you go down and tank and find that? But his teams at Rhode Island really performed well the last couple of years in the postseason.
Was he talking about him being more animated, or the team just needs to be more animated? Because you're right, there's no way.
And the thing about Dan, he wanted to put it on Jalen Adams at the beginning of the year, and Jalen Adams is not the leader type all the time. Today, I think he's been 100% a great leader. But when you find out your best player is not always the best leader, then you've got to reach down as a coach, and you have to become the leader. And you have to try to instill that in your players, and I think that's where Dan's at his best.
He told us yesterday when we talked to him that he's given the keys to Jalen Adams, so this is your weekend. We're going to go through you here, and so far he hasn't disappointed.
He's a special player. When he is on and ready and motivated and in the right place mentally, he is real good. Maybe the best player in this league, or one of the best, that's for sure.
There it is, Smith and Adams, 19 points. Tying USF themselves. They're up by 10. USF has had no field goals over the last 4 minutes. And the entry pass got blown up, and here come the Huskies. Vitale for Whaley. He's fouled.
Now, real unselfish play by Christian Vitale, not known for his ability to make the thread the needle pass. That time had his head up, knew Whaley was ahead of him, made the extra pass. Perfect delivery.
First foul on Michael Durr for USF. And Whaley out of Gastonia, North Carolina, sophomore. As we said, averaged only 3 minutes a ball game. Played in about 2/3 of his team's games this season. For sure, the most minutes and already the most points he's had this year, with 6 so far for the Huskies.
Playing with a lot of energy, and the reason he's staying in the game, not only for his offense, he is doing a good job on the defensive end of the floor, being active, disruptive, and rebounding as well. Good block out there by Whaley.
Huskies run off the missed 3. Patel, no one picked him up, and he trades another 3.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe what I'm seeing. I mean, USF just kind of jogging back and not communicating. Again, no one's talking, no one's pointing, no one's identifying the best shooter on the floor, standing there counting to almost 3 before anybody came near him.
Patel is a perfect 3 for 3 from 3-point range. Rito for 3, and that's an air ball. Into the hands of Durr, not there, and ripped away by Wilson. Patel again, yes! Unreal. Christian Patel is 4 for 4 from 3.
And Brian Gregory said, yes, this is unreal. We are one of the best defensive teams in this league, and we are breaking down by the minute.
It's a 19-1 run, and it's starting to get ugly here in a hurry.
Well, Christian Patel can make you look ugly quickly because he is a hot, cold player. Better shot selection this season under Dan Hurley, taking his time. But when he gets going and you leave him that wide open, it's good night for number 1.
UConn is 9 for 11 from 3-point range here in this first half. They're going to have some energy if they keep this up, right, for number 1 seed Houston tomorrow.
And you're looking at a team that only shoots about 34% in conference games from 3. That is not their MO, but here's what they're doing, Mike. They're doing a great job of rebounding the basketball, A, and then B, pushing it up the court quickly, spacing it. They're running to both corners, and then they're trying to dribble drive and draw the defense and reverse it before USF reacts. They've done that, and also USF, they're shooting themselves in the foot themselves because they're not running back and communicating and finding the open players.
Yeah, this is certainly a surprise here early. 37-19, 4:39 to play first half. USF just out of sorts. There's going to be a foul called, a little over-aggressive that time for the Huskies. And USF is in the bonus. 30-8 in the last 11 minutes, the run right now for UConn.
That's what 3s will do, and you know the 3s have really come right out of their basic transition secondary offense, where they just push and try to find the open man, and the confidence is building. That was not a smart foul though by Whaley out on the perimeter.
Aricevic and the junior from Serbia unable to connect, and nothing going right now for the Bulls.
When Josh Carlton went out with his second foul, you thought that could be an issue for UConn, but instead they've become a perimeter type team, and there's an offensive foul on the screen.
Well, now Whaley, he's got to watch it. He's got 3 personal fouls. So you got Carlton with the 2. Terrence Smith's got 2. Whaley, who was in for those guys, he picked up his 3rd. And now Eric Cobb comes back into the lineup.
Well, UConn, that's the way they want to play, though. They want to get out in the passing lanes. They want to be aggressive. That was an offensive foul, but I don't think Dan Hurley can say one word to Isaiah Whaley except great job.
They built up so much goodwill here that, you know, you're going to be okay, it seems like. Coming up on 4 minutes to play first half. Collins, the shot clock at 5. Rito for 3, got it. A much needed basket finally for the USF Bulls.
No, Christian Patel took that possession off. UConn did a really good job. They were switching all the screens out on the perimeter, and the shot clock was winding down. And as a defender, you have to understand where the clock is as well. And on the catch, Patel kind of was back on his heels.
Back into the hands of Adams. Patel for Cobb. Adams turns for three. And rebounded by Yetna.
It's kind of a settle for UConn in that possession. A contested three at the top.
Rito taking contact, scores it. And a back-to-back here for the Bulls. Trying to claw their way back into it.
That was a good job by Rito, just driving to the rim. He got fouled, but no foul called.
And a timeout by Dan Hurley and UConn. And we'll be right back. 3:02 to play first half. UConn in command early.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal Investments Retirement Insurance.
You're watching the American Athletic Conference on ESPN. First round action today. The Air Force Reserve American Athletic Conference Championship. UConn 37-24. The story has been three-point shooting here for the Huskies team.
Well, beyond unreal, and UConn's done it in a lot of different ways, sharing the ball, space the court, but basically it starts with their defense. They've rebounded the ball well, and then they pushed it up the court, and USF has done a really bad job of identifying the shooters, locking up, matching up, and just basically allowing UConn wide open looks.
It's an American Athletic Conference tournament record, 9 3-pointers and a half. The record was 8 by 3 teams previously. Vital is a perfect 4 for 4. Adams has 3 threes, and Terrence Smith has 2. As we'll look at our summary here for the first half so far.
Again, UConn's defense has been real good. They're doing a lot of switching out on the perimeter and all the screens that USF has set, and they're doing a nice job of spacing the court and finding the open man.
The extra pass there to Polly. They'll call a traveling violation on him.
Yeah, Polly's much improved, as we talked about before. He's a really good catch and shoot guy. Doesn't waste a lot of motion. Does a good job of finding his open seam out there on the floor. But one thing he's not good at is putting the ball on the deck and making a play.
Those are kind of the 2 big guys, Polly and Carlton, that Coach Hurley's going to try to build around in that front court. 2 sophomores.
We got a great recruiting class coming in as well. So things will be looking up for UConn. There's no doubt about it. But you can see Dan Hurley's imprint already just in this game today. The intensity level, the togetherness, the great defense, and the ability to share the basketball.
Justin Brown missing for USF. Haven't heard too much from him so far in this game. 0 for 2 early. Sophomore's been a big part of this year's team. Adams. How tough is that?
That is real tough because UConn was kind of stuck in the mud on that possession. They really didn't get a flow. They didn't change sides of the floor. The ball got kind of stuck in Adams' hands. But if you're going to have anybody to deliver at the end, it's Jalen Adams.
11 points for Adams. Cobb rips away a rebound, and he's fouled. It's on Yetna, his second for USF.
Well, there's no doubt, and all coaches will emphasize it, but they must have overemphasized it this week. We must keep USF off the offensive glass, and this has been the key to today. We're going to talk about the three-point shooting because that stands out, but it has started with their defense and their ability to rebound the ball on the defensive end.
I mean, Jalen Adams here, Tim, for UConn, besides his points, obviously, there's just so much that he brings, the facilitator for this UConn team. They were just lost without him.
I like him on the ball better than off the ball. I think he tends to relax off the ball and let the game come to him. When he has the ball in his hands, when he is the point guard, he is on the attack.
Coming up on 1.5 minutes to go in the first half. They bounce it into Cobb on the spin. He had a great angle, but he got bailed out and fouled. Fans coming up at the half. We've got Chris Cotter, Chris Spatola, and Jordan Cornette in the studio for the Audi halftime report. Colgate is in the tournament. Zion is returning for Duke. Of course, we'll be talking about that, plus stats and highlights, all that and more coming up on the Audi halftime report. Chris, and Jordan standing by.
How about Colgate? Let's talk about them. And I saw Donald Foyle doing a little dance on Twitter last night, and they have not been special since O'Donnell was there, and it's nice to see the boys from upstate back in the tournament, and that's what March Madness is all about.
Hey, 12 tickets already punched in the tournament so far. Colgate one of them.
And of course, the Iona Gales in their usual spot back in the tournament. 4 straight MAC championships. Congratulations to them. It's never been done. Tim Klus is an unbelievable coach.
Stays a 15-point game here in favor of UConn. The Huskies are shooting 74% from the field, 14 of 19 in this first half.
Well, Brandon Gregory's used his timeouts well, and he's, the last time I think he blistered his team about just let's go back to who we are. Let's defend the basketball. They've done a better job in the last 3 or 4 minutes taking away the threes.
Inside hook not there from Kerr. And UConn's also done a pretty good job of boxing out.
Well, Vital's a good rebound. That time he got in again. Adams open in transition.
Rideau, crossover, double clutch. Nice.
He's really good off the bounce, and Cott's got to do a better job of getting over from the weak side and presenting a little resistance and help in the middle.
He may be the defensive player of the year in the conference, but is certainly a stellar offensive threat as well. He's at his average already, 13 points for the Bulls in this first half.
USF, if they can hold serve here, they could feel decent about going into the half, that we played better in the last 3 or 4 minutes and maybe settle down defensively and maybe get their offense going in the second half.
Shot clock is down to 2. Adams. Now USF to get the last shot here. Rideau. Offensive foul. And that's not what you wanted. 4.4 to go. Going to get it back to UConn. It's his first foul of the game today.
Quincy Rideau just was bound and determined to get to the rim, and normally a good decision maker. That time just tried to weave through traffic, probably unaware that he had a little bit more time than he had. Just a slight push off to Adams, and Joe Lindsay on the call.
Yep, good call. UConn, 4.4 seconds left. A substitution here for USF. Adams puts it in. Holly back to Adams. And he's not going to get a shot off. But UConn will take it. Solid first half. 39-26. They're 15-2 this season when leading at the half.
Well, lock and load. UConn has lived it from the three-point line, and they've got to make sure, though, in the second half they don't get too happy from the three. They've got to get a little bit more movement, and USF's got to be happier the way the half ended.
So a tournament record for threes in the first half by the Huskies, led by Vital with 4. Adams had 3. Smith had 2. And the Huskies lead it at the break. Let's go to the studio. Chris Cotter, after the break of the Audi halftime report after these messages. Welcome back to Champ Week, presented by Principal and the Air Force Reserve American Athletic Conference Men's Basketball Championship. Getting ready for the start of the second half of Game 1 with UConn and USF. What a job by the Huskies in the first half. Welcome back, everyone, to Memphis. Mike Corey, former Providence head coach Tim Welsh. Pretty impressive display by the Huskies there.
You know, we're going to talk about three-point shooting. It's obvious that's where it started for UConn, but I think it started with their defense. It started with aggressive defense. They did a lot of switching. They didn't allow penetration in the lane, and then they rebounded the basketball, and then they got out in transition, and they did this. They knocked in threes. They spaced the floor. They reversed the ball. They got wide-open looks. They made difficult looks. They ran good offense. They had 5 out at times, and they are a tough out when they get out in transition and start moving the basketball, and their confidence built by the minute. Some of it was self-inflicted by USF's inability to get back and find the shooters in transition, but a lot of it was UConn really doing a good job of pushing the pace and then finding the open man and then locking it in and finishing.
Second half underway here from the FedEx Forum. The winner gets the #1 seed Houston Cougars tomorrow in the quarterfinals. And the first shot of the second half off the mark by Yetna. And right in front of us, Smith coming after it. It'll stay with the Bulls.
Jalen Adams has just played with tremendous energy. He's talking, he's verbal, he's getting out on his man on defense. He's trying to be active on the glass, and he's playing unselfish basketball.
Collins gets to the Brown. Floater, and they get the bounce. I mean, you look up here, Tim, right? It's an 11-point game. Just got to put a couple of stops back-to-back here. You're right back in it if you're USF, right?
They kind of got back into it in the last 4 or 5 minutes of the first half by just playing basic, solid defense. They got back in transition, and they made UConn run half-court offense.
Foul on a shot here from Christian Vitale. And a good first half that he had. It was a game high or a team high 12 points for the Huskies, and was a perfect 4 for 4 from the field.
That made Brian Gregory wince, not only because they fouled Vitale, but just allowing him that easy penetration into the middle of the lane, kind of unguarded.
The juniors had a nice last couple games for the Huskies. 16 points, previously 26 the game before. So there it is, averaging 21 in the last 2. And he's got 14 points now, as it's back to a 13-point game. Minute gone by, second half. Foul on Vitale, his second.
He closed out hard on Collins, and that's what Collins does. He has that ability to put the ball on the deck, find that angle. He's big and strong. He can get into the gaps.
Rideau. Shot clock inside 10. Dumps it inside. And a nice shot there from Michael Durr. And the freshman connects.
Sorry, Mike, that was good execution by USF. They drew the second defender out on the perimeter on the pick and roll, and Pauly was late on the backside with the help.
8 points for Durr so far, the 7-foot freshman for USF. Now they got to bear down defensively. Oh, what a shot from Adams.
That's what you call the Euro step through.
Back to Durr, and he is fouled. And a story of that first half was that guy Josh Carlton for UConn, number 25, with 2 personal fouls, and now he picks up his third.
Here's what we were talking about, Mike. They drew the second defender. Carlton stays with the basketball, so they got 2 men on the ball. Pauly's supposed to rotate up and defend the roll man. He's late to the party. One thing UConn has done is they've done a really good job of keeping Alexis Yetna off the glass. And he's been known to dominate a game just with his offensive rebounding. And in the first half, UConn did a real good job with just playing small, and Whaley coming back in the game now with Carlton with the third. But Whaley did a really good job in the first half, not only scoring, but defending and rebounding.
Oh, he really did. 6 points, 4 rebounds for Whaley.
Kind of a lost afternoon for Josh Carlton. Right. He can't keep himself on the floor. That time he didn't run back on defense and got caught on a bad angle at the rim.
Not the way you want to keep your guy fresh if they advance to the next round, but he'll probably be well rested. There's a foul as Smith comes through the lane. Collins is second.
Well, this is not just a guess by Dan Hurley to put Isaiah Whaley in the game. I mean, you have to show him in practice that you are ready for prime time, and that's how you gain your minutes with him. And a lot of coaches say that, but Dan Hurley lives it and means it. So Whaley's been doing a better job lately of getting in the mix in practice, which is allowing Dan to have some confidence with him in the game today.
Some of his most minutes of the season. Played 7 minutes in that first half. Very productive. Vitale. Traveling violation.
USF now they're showing their wares on defense, and on that possession, UConn really struggled to get it in, and then on the catch, USF closed out hard and made Vitale put it on the floor and turn it over.
Each team with 8 turnovers so far. Second half, 12-point Huskies advantage. Yetna. A scrap for it. Adams comes up with it. A wild pass up the court, though. And there's going to be a foul on USF.
Wow. That, my friend, is a bailout, and that's a bad sign. Obviously, Rita's slow to get up because that was just a loose ball. I don't know where the foul came from. The ball was flying up in the air. It was about to go out of bounds, and then Rita picked up the foul.
Yeah, that was crazy. Adams got it and then just kind of chucked it up the floor.
You know, good defense on the baseline drive, and Polly did a good job of just building a wall, and you see just kind of a collision down there. I don't know how you come up with a foul on Rito on that one.
You know, they're saying Rito got into Terrence Smith, but he took the brunt of it.
I mean, the ball's up in the air, two players just colliding.
UConn possession. Holly for three. Got it. We talked about it earlier, Tim. 51 threes now on the year for the big guy.
And that's not normally how he gets them off the bounce, but he teed it up, created a little space, and he's got that length over the top.
Check it, it's a 2 with a foot on the line.
Here you see off the bounce creating a little space, and that looks like a 3 to me.
I agree. So they called it a 2, but they will check it at the timeout and see if UConn gets an extra point in that Poly jumper.
Well, Quincy Rito now is in the second half is defending Jalen Adams, and they kind of saved him because of the leg injury. And he's getting up, and now miscommunication.
Adams for Whaley.
That's again the floor spaced on both sides, corner to corner, a little pick and roll game in the middle of the floor. Two defenders stayed with the basketball, and no one came close to Isaiah Whaley.
What do you do, right, Coach, when a player like this all of a sudden is having an afternoon with 8 points? You got to find him.
That's easy money right there, though. All he did was roll to the basket and nobody near him. That's clearly a mistake on defense, but good offense by Jalen Adams and Whaley.
Yeah, how much fun is he having right there? Good reaction from Adams after that pass. It's like you come into a game, right, and as a scout and a coach, you got to take care of the knowns, right? There's not much you can do sometimes when a player like that comes alive.
Tariq Gilbert is a really good player. He's a very good push point guard. He's a good on-ball defender. But I think UConn runs better half-court offense with Jalen Adams at the point. He's more engaged. He gets everybody involved. He's trying to get to the rim, get in the lane, and then when the defender picks him up, he finds the open man.
We're talking about the sophomore, Tariq Gilbert for UConn, out with an eye injury. Didn't play the last game, out indefinitely for the Huskies.
Listen, he plays his heart out too, and Dan Hurley loves Tariq Gilbert, and he loves that defensive effort. A shot clock violation.
Did we get a foul, though, before that? Zelton Steed and Joe Lindsay getting together to talk it over.
Now we've got the dreaded huddle between the officials. That means there's a little questioning of what they're trying to do, and they're going to go to the monitor to see if the foul occurred before the shot clock expired. Question is, when is the foul called? That's a tough one for Joe Lindsay and company. It looked like the ball was out of his hand, and the foul occurred just before the clock expired.
Well, it's when the foul occurred and when the whistle is blown. So let's see.
Okay, now that, from that angle, that looks like the foul comes after the clock. The ball's still in his hands, but the foul, really, they're trying to determine when the foul occurred. And now, if they say the foul occurred on his way up, like right there,
right, exactly.
That's where I think that USF's going to get to the free throw line.
Right. So when the contact occurs, and you have to listen to the whistle being blown, because it takes maybe a half a second for the arm to go up. You know, so you can't be looking at the official with the arm there. You got to see where the contact is and when the whistle is blown. Yep, Joe Lindsay came over, told us, so got him on the arm.
Joe Lindsay, there's never a doubt in Joe Lindsay's mind or the way he explained it. Yeah. He's an excellent official.
He does a great job, no doubt about it. along with Joe Zeltensteed and Vladimir Voyard-Tadal, our officials today in this first round game of the American Athletic Conference Championship. The foul is on Whaley. That is his 4th, Tim.
All right, so Eric Kopp's going to come in for him, and that's unfortunate for UConn because, you know, Whaley has been really aggressive. Now, you talk about his points, yes, but defensively he's been very good and fundamental. Defending in the paint, also just pure blockouts. And that's what's given him the extra minutes today. And Kopp's going to get a little taste here, and he's going to have to hold his own on the defensive end of the floor.
Foul trouble for the Huskies, but no trouble with the scores. They lead it by 15 as Durr cuts it to 14. Still a ton of time left in this game here. Winner gets the #1 seed Houston Cougars tomorrow in the quarterfinals. First game of the day in Memphis. Following us, we've got #5 Memphis and #12 Tulane. Hometown team in action. Adams to the hole.
That is just way too easy. He is a special player, but he's going to his right. He's going to the strong side, and someone's got to come over and give a little support in the lane.
And look out. 3 ball goes down here for USF. They needed it. And Brown connects.
And that's really one of the few times Justin Brown's got loose on the perimeter. That time Adams was close, but not close enough to the good shooter.
5 points for him. Adams with the ball. He's got 15 today for the Huskies. Holly, a long 3. He'll try it again. That one's good.
Excuse me, sir. I'll miss one, but I'll make the next one. That's Tyler Pauly. He is a confident shooter from the outside when he gets his feet set.
You got to grab that ball for USF, right? That was just a tap there by Adams. And he was able to
you know what happened is they tried to run out before they secured the ball. And again, UConn's energy giving him this lead.
Ball knocked away, and it's UConn possession. When we come back, we'll get ready for #5 versus #12. Game 2 of our doubleheader. The Memphis Tigers in action. And we'll talk to their head coach, Penny Hardaway, on the other side of this break. Game 2 coming up here today in round 1 of the American Athletic Conference Championship. Tulane and #5 Memphis. The Tigers in action, trying to knock off the Green Wave and advance to the quarterfinals. So we've got a chance now to talk the former Memphis great and first-year head coach of the Tigers, Penny Hardaway. Coach, thanks so much for the time. Congratulations on what you've achieved up to this point. I know this has got to be very exciting for you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. It is very exciting for us. We have the tournament here in our hometown, and we got to win 4 games in 4 nights to get it done.
Penny, basketball-wise, what does your team have to do to win 4 games? When you're playing your best, what do you have to do this weekend?
We got to turn teams over, and we got to get out and run. And I know they're saying a lot, playing 4 games in 4 nights, but that's who we are. We just have to be smart about what we have to do and make every possession count on both ends, but we got to get out and run. That's our tempo.
Coach, how about your star, Jeremiah Martin, the season that he's had, what he brings to this team and what you've said to him before this tournament?
Yeah, Jeremiah Martin has been unbelievable all season, but for the month of February, he averaged 30 points a game. I mean, what more can you say? The thing that I say to him is just let the game come to him. Be a leader, and your basketball instincts will take over.
Penny, your first go-around in this conference. What are your feelings about this league after having coached 1 season in it?
It's a great league. We have so many great coaches, Hall of Fame coaches in this league, and that brings great teams. As you can see, our non-conference scheduling was pretty strong in this conference, and, you know, I'm excited about how strong we're going to be moving forward. And, you know, the coaches in this league are second to none. That's why these teams are playing really well.
Coach, this matchup, Tulane, they obviously have nothing to lose. You guys, though, need to try to win this thing, hopefully to get to the NCAA tournament. So what goes in your mind as you step on the floor here coming up next?
Well, you know, we don't take anybody for granted. We know Tulane knows that the slates are clean, and this is a new season in the postseason. And they're going to come in and play hard and play strong, and we can't take that for granted. We got to go out there, and every possession has to be desperate today.
Coach, thanks so much for your time. Good luck in game 2. We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much.
You got it. Penny Hardaway, head coach of the Memphis Tigers. They're in action versus #12 Tulane. 30 minutes after this game is done here today in Memphis, Tennessee. As Collins for USF kicks it. Rito, it's a 3. Offensive rebound. Yetna, and they got knocked out of bounds.
Well, going into that last timeout, Mike, Brian Gregory was really upset with his team that they didn't jump on that loose ball that we talked about that Jalen Adams kind of just grabbed, and Pauly got the wide open three. And in order for USF to get back in this game, they've got to do what they do. And their identity as a team is gritty on the backboards and really get hard up on the defensive end of the floor.
Collins not there. There it is, trying to get the offensive rebound. Second try. Brown comes away with it. Collins again. That's a nice move, and again, more contact. He's had tough sledding there to get to the hole.
There really wasn't a lot there. Collins made something out of nothing. Got bumped all the way to the rim, but that's USF basketball. Get up on the glass and just force your way through the door.
That's out. Shot clock winding down. 5 to shoot. Cobb. Collins again. That's a tough one. Another offensive rebound. You've been calling it, Coach. Brown here. A couple opportunities at least.
That's a good job by Cobb. He's only got 3 blocks on the entire season, but he got himself back, and then UConn's back.
Terrence Smith with a basket and a chance for the three-point play.
Well, Eric Cobb did a really good job. First, he made a good post move down on the offensive end. It didn't go down, but he ran back on defense, blocked the shot, and then UConn again out in transition, keyed by Adams with the push ahead.
One thing that I like for these guys, right, is they're staying aggressive. You know, you got a big lead, but they're playing to win here today. They'll be out here playing not to lose.
Well, the other thing, too, is a team can fall in love with the three. You shoot the three like UConn did in the first half. You start getting it. Sometimes can become fool's gold, and then all of a sudden you start, your whole offense revolves around the three-point line, and that's not how UConn's built. They happen to have a good half from the three, but they want to do that. They want to get down and dirty on defense and be aggressive.
Yeah, that's a great point. To be hard-pressed to think you're going to go 9 for 11 again in the second half.
Well, that's what good coaches do, though. They remind their team at halftime, we can't rely on the three like we did in the first half. It's there. If it's within the context of our offense, sure, we'll take it, and it was in the first half. But in the second half, USF has done a better job of getting back, pressuring UConn on the perimeter, and UConn has done a better job of just attacking and getting to the rim.
This is what happens sometimes with teams knowing that they've got to put it all out on the line here in this tournament. UConn kind of peaking at the right time. Shot 63% last game. They're shooting 67% here today. A 17-point lead. Collins faking on the three. Cobb, and he's called for the block, and the basket counts.
Eric Cobb showing a side of himself that he rarely does, and that's becoming a good defender, and he's done a good job banging around on the boards. This time just half a step late. I think he's not outside the restricted arc. He tries to get there, and he gets there, but he's not set. Good call by Joe Lindsay. But again, Cobb showing some good energy. First with the block shot, then he dives for the loose ball on the sideline in front of Dan Hurley, then he tries to take the charge. So that will get him extra PT from the coach.
Collins makes it a 14-point game here. Pauly, backdoor cut, Smith. And Cobb going to stay with UConn and 12 to shoot. You liking the offense that you've seen here for the Huskies and where they've rotated the ball?
Well, they're doing a pretty good job because USF has picked up the pace on defense. The intensity's there, and it's not really pretty right now, but they're finding a way to get to the rim.
Exactly right. Cobb to the towel. You can't really draw that up.
No, it's offense by accident, but sometimes that wins games if you are the aggressor.
That's a game high 16 points for Christian Vitale. 5 of 6 from the field. Oh, nice up fake inside, and the foul is drawn by Mayan Kerr. We'll be back. Under 12 to go. First game of the day. UConn by 16.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal Investments Retirement Insurance.
What kind of crop else are you going to grow?
I'm going to get on the soybeans and the corn.
Nobody thought we would do this.
Oh my God! What a great miss.
What ice cream are you getting tonight?
I don't know yet, but we're going to figure it out.
I feel sorry for all those guys who are on the bubble right now, but we're not.
Fun time of the year here at Champ Week, continuing with round one of the Air Force Reserve American Athletic Conference Championship. How about the tickets already punched here? 12 of them to be exact, of the 32.
Oh, Randy Bennett with the big upset over Gonzaga, and he looked pretty happy. And Colgate, FDU doing a Greg Horrenda, just an amazing job there. And Murray State, that was a really good game against Belmont. Liberty, Richie McKay says the second acts do work. And St. Mary's burst Simone's bubble. And he didn't care. He was happy to brag about it.
How about that? Beating #1 Gonzaga. And you got to see whether or not a team like a Belmont at 26-5, losing to Murray State, pretty high ranking in the net, and see if they get a
put all those good mid-majors in. They deserve it. You know, they don't have the opportunity. It's not a fair system. So, but you can watch basketball and see that their Belmont is deserving to get into the tournament.
It happens every year, right, Tim? I mean, you want to see some of those teams, and then you come out and you see the stats and say, well, there's not as many of those upsets. Well, hey, if you put more of those teams in, maybe there would be, right? There would be more of those mid-majors getting wins.
How much fun was Loyola last year? And
right.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see that again from a team like them, maybe a Wofford.
They've had a really nice season as well, for sure. This is game 1 of 4 here today, round 1 of the tournament in Memphis, the American Athletic Conference Championship. Turnover, UConn. Running the break, Collins. Oh, he got blocked. What a play from Sidney Wilson. Getting back for UConn, and now Carleton. He's blocked by Kerr. Collins, he's blocked again. And that was Jalen Adams, and a foul is called. What a sequence.
Brian Gregory, first and foremost, on the Sid Wilson block. He thought it was goaltending, and it was really close. It looked like, watch Wilson here. He elevates over the top. Looks a great athletic play without fouling. Not sure if he did goaltend or not. They come back the other way. Carleton says, I'm finishing. No, thank you, you aren't. And then Adams finally halts the action across the arm.
What did we say during the timeout there? You and I said, he got a little disjointed there for a moment.
Well, it came down to a grinding halt. Both teams playing really good, solid man-to-man defense, getting back on defense and turning into a half-court affair. I like the up and down action, and that was pretty exciting.
It certainly picked back up. Second foul on Jalen Adams for UConn, and Wilson had the ball, and Adams gets it. After all that, still a 14-point UConn advantage with 11 minutes to go in the game.
The USF's done a pretty good job in the last few possessions of taking Jalen Adams' right hand away, and when he does try to go to the right, they're giving some early help.
There's a foul on Collins. That's going to be number 4 on David Collins. And he's coming out in favor of Castaneda.
USF is a system offensive team, meaning they run a lot of sets. They're scoutable in that way, but they've never been able to get into any type of flow on offense to kind of creep back into this game. And they need a couple threes or a couple transition baskets just to loosen up the defense.
Adams got it. There's a foul, and it's going to be on UConn. Joe Lindsay says we'll count the basket, and then it's going to be a foul on Adams after the fact for a push. That's his third.
It's kind of a weird play. It looked like the foul occurred on the tip-in, but I guess Joe Lindsay says that the tip-in occurred first. Here you see on the little runner, and Adams follows his shot. Gets tipped in. I'm not even sure if it was tipped in by a USF player, but Adams got called for the push.
And because of that, USF is in the bonus. It was Kerr that took the hit and went to the deck. He's going to have a 1-and-1 here for USF.
Well, Dan Hurley argued, but only lightly,
sure,
because the basket was counted. But more importantly, Adams, that's 3 on him. He's got to be careful.
1 of 2 at the line. And Vitale rips it away.
Yeah, good rebound by Vitale in there with the trees, and that's what he does. He's very aggressive on the boards. First time tonight, this afternoon, excuse me, Mike Corey, USF showing a little 2-3 zone just to change up the pace.
Vitale, and no change here from UConn. Another 3. He's got 19.
Now, the one thing you have to do is you got to get near the good shooters, and that's what Rito just looked at Vitale, and he locked and loaded. I don't think he believed he was going to shoot it from that deep, but he can.
Season high, tying a season high. 12 threes made for the Huskies. Vitale is 5 of 6. And the shot clock is winding down for USF on this possession. Kerr got fouled.
Dan Hurley said to Tyler Polley, don't bail him out, and you need to get bailed out on offense. This is what you do. You throw it to Christian Vitale, and if the defense is flat-footed, he'll lock it in.
Tyler Polley called for the foul. That's his second. And Kerr's going to be a good one for years to come for this team as well, too. Transfer out of LSU. Sophomore.
We've got some long and athletic players. Brian Greer told us earlier today, though, that as they build the program to where they need to get to, where they're in the class of a UCF or a Temple, Cincinnati, Houston, is they need more skilled players. They've got some good athletes, but they need some better ball handling, they need some better shooting.
10 wins a year ago. They got 19 this season. That improvement is tied for 4th best improvement in Division I. They're down big here today in this round 1 game. As UConn has shot the lights out. 66% overall shooting. 63% from 3-point range at 12 of 19.
Well, I like the idea of going to the 2-3 zone just to kind of change the pace of the game. But if they're going to do it, they must find Vitale and Polley and cheat towards them on the perimeter.
But when everybody's hitting like they are here today for UConn, right, it just makes it so difficult. You got to get on everyone, and Smith is one of those guys, rare miss from 3.
Well, that's not his game. He's made a few today, but that's the one guy you can cheat off a little bit, and they're USF in transition, getting all the way to the rim.
And this is smart play by the Bulls here. That's the 4th personal foul on Jalen Adams. They know this. It's UConn's got foul trouble. They got a lot of time here left, right, Tim? They'll go to the rack.
They do, and I wouldn't be surprised if Dan Hurley shows a little zone as well. He doesn't like playing the zone, but he does have it in his playbook. They have played it at times this season, and maybe just to buy a little time because USF is just putting their head down and getting to the rim, and the fouls are building up for Connecticut.
And it's got to be starting to become a factor here now for the Huskies, with Adams having to go to the bench with 4. Carlton's been in some foul trouble today as well. That's the rebound, and he is fouled. So here's the foul trouble right now for the Huskies. Still 9:14 to play in this contest. Whaley, he's got 4, so he's on the bench. So Adams and Whaley each with 4.
Well, Brian Gregory knows without Jalen Adams on the floor and Alterique Gilbert back in Connecticut, they don't have a natural point guard, so he's going to put the pressure up a little bit. That was kind of a fake pressure. I thought he'd maybe throw a trap at Connecticut, see how they handle it, but they're going to stay in this zone and cheat towards Vitale and Polley and play tight paint defense on everybody else, although they leave Polley wide open.
And Carlton able to track down the rebound in the corner, and he lost it. Riedel for 3. Got it. Big shot. We're at a 12-point game. Still 8.5 to play.
This is where USF can push ahead and make their run with the foul trouble and Adams on the bench. USF has a big advantage at the guard spot. They have to take advantage of redo on the perimeter and defensively cheat towards Vitale in the zone.
Yeah, got to bear down on this defensive end here. Vitale for 3. Does it again. Looks right at us here, cut off the court.
You know, the thing is, Mike, that was pretty good defense, but not good enough. The defender just looked at him and kind of flat-footed and never got up in the air and contested. Castaneda just kind of looked at him. On the catch, you have to just get up into him where he has no other option other than to dribble the basketball.
He comes down here puffing his fist, looking at us saying, what are you saying about me now? I'm 6 for 7 from three-point range today.
Stop. He wasn't looking at us.
He was. He looked right at us. You missed it. How about the 2 games when they took on USF? Average 12.5. He's got 22 today. You see the numbers.
They're doing a good job, Connecticut, though, in this zone, kind of letting Vital kind of get lost in the back of his defense. Then they find him, like, right there.
For a career high, 8 threes. No. Rebounded by Durr.
Well, even though he's got all the threes today, Dan really didn't like that one. He thought it was a little forced.
Rebound Smith. And he got bumped.
Well, USF trying to creep back in it with some threes and tough defense. Offense flowing a little bit better, but not paying enough attention to this man, the hottest man in Memphis, Christian Vital from Queens, Mike Corey.
All right, here's our past American Athletic Conference Tournament champions. Louisville in their only season in the league back in 2014 to get it started.
Well, they did, and this league has really evolved. Once it settled down, now we know who's in the conference. Wichita made their mark a year ago. They will be back. UConn, obviously, is built to last with Dan Hurley at the wheel, and SMU had a lot of injuries, but they will be back as well. And Cincinnati, what do? They just get to the tournament.
They had a 1-point win last year versus Houston. We headed back for a rematch of that, and we'll see. Houston awaits the winner of our game here right now with USF and UConn. There's your top 4 seeds, all NCAA tournament teams for the time being. You feel like Temple, they got to win at least one here to really secure it, or are they pretty much in, do you think?
I think they're in. Okay. You know, Fran Dunphy's team, and again, I don't really study the math part of it. I just watch basketball, and I can tell they're a team that's won all season long at a consistent level, and their huge win last week over UCF at home, I think, sealed the deal.
So here's Joe Lunardi, what he has right now with Houston, Cincinnati, UCF, and Temple. Has the Owls as an 11 seed right now. And then not on this list, you can think about the Memphis Tigers, who are coming up in game 2 right here in their home arena. And what happens if they go and they win this thing? There could be 5 teams from the American
And they
season.
cannot be ignored, not only because they're playing this building, because they're a team that plays really good in this building. They average over 80 points a game. They've got a dynamic score, and the crowds are back here in downtown Memphis for the Tigers.
Look forward to seeing them in action coming up next. This is game 1 of 4 here today from the FedEx Forum in Memphis.
A car crash at the rim, no harm, no blood, no foul.
Coach Gregory's team trying to pick up win number 20 on this season. This series was split between the 2 teams, UConn and USF. In the regular season, Rito takes a seat. Xavier Castaneda, freshman. Kerr, the extra pass. It's a 3 from Collins. And that's over the top of the backboard and out of bounds.
Probably not the shot Brian Gregory wanted, but again, give UConn a ton of credit. They are staying solid in their half-court defense, communicating, getting up on the shooters on the perimeter, and doing a great job on the glass.
Now, you thought about this earlier, some more pressure here. Let's see if they keep it on.
I would keep that press on constantly without Jalen Adams on the floor. Trapped. This is just a soft press. I'd give them a look at some traps and some gambling going on without Jalen Adams.
Now look at Coach Gregory over there. He's told his players, get up there. Wilson comes off the screen. He slips, and they're going to call the foul on TJ Lang, and that's his first. champ week. Let's go to the Big 12. What a season it's been in this conference. The Phillips 66 Big 12 championship. You do a lot of games in this league, Tim. What's your take on what's happening here?
Well, I agree with Joey Brackets, and he is the math expert with as far as the NCAA tournament goes, and he's got 8 teams out of 10 going to the NCAA tournament. Oklahoma with just a brutal loss last night. They made a last-second shot they thought to tie the game, went to review, and it was a 2, and West Virginia wins by 1. And Bob Huggins has his team playing very well now at the end of the season.
That's amazing. 80% of your conference going to the NCAA tournament.
You know, most people around the country outside of that league might say, well, how do you take a team that, you know, say as a TCU or an Oklahoma that is well below 500 in conference play, but it's the overall record, and certainly the strength of the league speaks for itself.
Nice pass underneath. Castaneda to Kerr. They're going to count the basket. They're going to say goaltend or basket interference, and there's going to be a free throw coming.
Well, I think the board was hit, and if the board is hit, that's fine. But if the board shakes while the ball is on the rim, then it's 2 points. I tell you what, these officials have done a very good job today. And the pace of the game has been high intensity, very physical as well. And you see the front of the rim was touched while the ball was in the zone.
Right. Vital was called for the foul, his 3rd. And so Kerr can cap off a 3-point play here for USF. They just had a mountain to climb, though, this entire game. Still a 15-point contest.
Well, UConn's taking their time on the offensive end. And, again, I think USF's got to try to pick up the pace defensively. And you know, they are who they are. They're trying to stay with what they do. Rock solid, half-court man-to-man, but give UConn credit. They're taking their time and trying to get good shots on every possession.
Polley works his way in, offensive rebound, and he knocked it out.
Tyler Polley kind of fought his way all the way to the rim. I thought he made an excellent move. That's not his game. That little crossover, found an angle, got all the way to the rim. I thought there was contact, but he absorbed the heat. No foul.
Yeah, no, it's a 3-ball. And there's a foul and a rebound, and it's going to be on Whaley and UConn, and he has fouled out.
Well, Whaley got caught on the backside. Pretty much all afternoon, he's done a really good job of blocking out, but he didn't have good inside position. He kind of got pushed out, and then he's trying to get back inside of Kerr. Kind of tug of war inside. The second one in always gets caught.
You're going to take it, though, right, Coach? In 21 games for Isaiah Whaley coming into this game, he had 11 total points. Today, he leaves with 8. And certainly a good spark off the bench with Carlton going out early with the 2 fouls.
That's perseverance by a young man. I mean, obviously, everybody wants to play, but you come right to the end of the season, you get your number called in the biggest game of the year, and you deliver after basically being on the bench the entire season. Dan Hurley's got to say, great job to Isaiah Whaley. He's going to roll the dice. He sees that they're playing well without Jalen Adams, so he's going to put him back in and say, okay, we're going to try to end this thing quickly here, get the lead up to 20 with Jalen in the game, and then if he fouls out, we can hang on.
You like that strategy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And first of all, you have to have confidence in your player. You have to know who you are and who your player is, and trust him as a senior that he's not going to get his hands involved in something where he fouls out of the game. And he's very crafty. The one thing you worry about when you put a player in an offense is on the defensive end, but also a good aggressive offensive player if they step in and draw a charge. But Jalen Adams rarely gets involved with that because he's so good at just getting that angle and getting all the way to the rim.
13-point advantage, Vital for 3. And that could have been really hurtful, but now here's Collins. Sneaks through, doesn't get it. Thought there was a foul.
Collins got all the way there, but there was really no room to roam. They need to be a little bit more patient. They're trying to push the pace. They don't have a lot of time, but you can't take careless shots.
UConn using some clock here. Here's Adams. Instead, he'll put up a three, and he got fouled. Castaneda is going to be called for the ticket. So 3 free throws coming for the best free throw shooter on the UConn Huskies.
Now here's where you can play a little cat and mouse where you are if you're Dan Hurley. Now in that last possession, he wanted his team to get back into a 2-3 zone. They're going to do that, but here's why Adams is so hard to defend. He gets you off balance. You have to play the drive. You have to play the three-point shot, and he has that ability to get fouled from the perimeter.
Tough one there, just grazed him on the arm, but enough to draw the foul. 86% of the line this season is Adams. Teammates with Utah Jazz, the shooting guard Donovan Mitchell back at Brewster Academy in New Hampshire. He's out of Roxbury, Massachusetts, and this is his final season now for the UConn Huskies. He wants to go out with a bang here, and they're off to a really good start in this game for sure.
Well, the great coach, Jason Smith, another prep school national championship up at Brewster, and what a great coach and program he has there.
So a 15-point lead now for the Huskies.
Now Sid Wilson was at the table to get Jalen Adams out of the game for this next 44 seconds before the next media timeout, but instead they got to come back and play defense, and they do it well.
Tough runner there from Riedel, but he stays with it and at least forces the jump, but it's going to be UConn possession.
Well, in that possession, Mike, they went back into a 2-3 zone. We thought that UConn might do that just to kind of kill some clock and save their team with their foul issues. And give Josh Carlton a lot of credit. He's been aggressive still around the rim with his foul issues, trying to block shots and throwing his body around on the glass.
But it's tough for USF, it seems like, on the offensive end. Like, who is their go-to guy? You know, where can they really just get numbers, points if they need it? I'm not quite sure.
You know, Collins is the guy that's going to put up the numbers for them, but UConn has done a good job of not only making him work to catch the ball on the perimeter, but when he tries to drive to the rim, they send that second and sometimes third defender at him.
Collins had a hand on it. Now he gets it up the court. He's got 8 points today. On the feed, Kerr, and there's his player down still for UConn, and it's Vital. Adams picked up the foul here for the Huskies on the defensive end. He's fouled out, and Vital got shaken up. So double whammy right now for UConn.
That is, and Jalen Adams has to be smarter than that. Up 15 points, he's just got to back away, and obviously when you're aggressive as a player, sometimes that's your nature, and you just want to play hard and play tough all the time, but you have to understand the situation. And right now, if Vital goes out, it looks like he's going to stay in. A little bang knee to knee. Good news for UConn. He's up and walking around, and it's going to stay in the game.
Well, they certainly need him now with Adams fouling out. Oh, the second time this season, Adams has fouled out in the 25 games he's played. Kerr is at the line. It's been a nice effort from these three guys, right? 22 for Vital, 19 for Adams, and then Terrence Smith for 13 points. Look at the shooting.
Smith has been rock solid, and not only offensively, but he just gives them another tough defender on the perimeter.
Holly comes up with this one. They have accounted for 54 of the 70 UConn points here today. Smith. Fadeaway no. Carlton there on the weak side for the rebound. I'm going to say he was out of bounds. And we've got a break. 3:40 to play in the contest. UConn continuing to keep USF at bay here in round one of the American.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the Air Force Reserve. Start your adventure with the Air Force Reserve. And ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Game 2 coming up soon. It's Tulane and Memphis. 5 versus 12. Round 1 of the American Athletic Conference Championship presented by Air Force Reserve. And the winner of this first game gets Houston, and then Memphis and Tulane. The winner of that game takes on UCF. All 4 top seeds awaiting action tomorrow in the quarterfinals.
Well, if UConn can hold on, and it remains to be seen, obviously, if USF can turn them over enough to get back in this game. And they gave Houston a tough game in Hartford earlier in the season, so they're not going to back down from Houston. Houston obviously will be well rested and flying high after a great regular season, but this UConn team is very, very tough today with Jalen Adams at the point.
Yeah, that was back in the middle of February, Tim. 71-63, the final in that game. They battled. What about here? Does USF have a chance here? Down by 14. What do you got?
They have to just keep driving the ball to the basket, see if they can get UConn to help a little bit. Now UConn going in the 2-3 zone. Get up now. Get up, get up, get up. Pressure and trap. Not just soft pressure. They have to make UConn make decisions with the basketball. See if they run the second defender at Smith. They don't.
Well, you said it on the drive. Collins there with the 10 points now after that floater. Averages 15 a game.
UConn's just going to eat this clock. I don't think there's enough time for USF if they're going to play this type of defense.
Smith. Wilson on the drive, short, and rebounded by Kerr and the Bulls.
UConn's going to sprint back and get to their 2-3 zone.
Almost a travel there. Oh, what a pass from Kerr to Brown.
A good job by USF, not forcing the issue in transition and being patient against that zone.
Closest they've been in quite some time here. A 10-point game. Still 2:20 left in the contest.
This is UConn's version of their delay game. They're not holding the ball out on the perimeter, but they're going to just pass it around the perimeter until about 10 on the clock.
Patel. Jump ball is the call. And it's Bulls possession here. There goes to the official, but take the call, man. It's a jump.
Christian Patel probably went a little bit too early. USF gambled, but then he takes it right to the shot blocker with no luck.
He was close there. I don't know how much of the ball that he did get. But here's Yetman now for 3, and it's good. Oh, that's a huge sequence. And USF is within 7 with 2 minutes to go.
And now they can play just rock solid defense. Make sure they rebound the basketball. They send the second defender at the basketball.
Timeout UConn with 1:51 to go. Their lead has been sliced to 7 thanks to an 8-0 USF run.
Oh, nice job by USF. Space in the court, finding the open man, trying to hang in late.
Third meeting of the season between these two teams. They've split. USF beat UConn at home 76-68 earlier in January. They lost to them on March 3rd at UConn by 2. Now this one is for the right to move on to the quarterfinals of the American Athletic Conference Championship, and a date with #1 Houston tomorrow. UConn, Tim, they were up by as many as 18. It's down to 7 as they're 0 for their last 7 from the field.
Well, they're trying to just hang on. They're playing the 2-3 zone because they don't have the perimeter defenders to get out and defend USF in the half court, and they've got some foul issues. And then offensively, they missed their moneymaker, Jalen Adams.
Worst drought of the game here for them as Smith works his way in. He got hit. That's definitely a foul on Kerr. It's his 4th. Previous longest drought for UConn in this game was 0 for 2. They hadn't gone 3 straight trips, being 0 for 3. See if they can keep it up here. Sports Center, 5 o'clock Eastern, coming your way after Virginia Tech, Florida State, with Sage and Keith. We'll have live coverage from Charlotte with the latest on Zion's return. And Scott Van Pelt breaks down the value of the 1 seed of the NCAA tournament. And today's best comments from NFL players that changed uniforms. A lot happening. Sports Center after the ACC tourney quarterfinals on ESPN and the app.
Let's you can see here, Mike, what defense Dan Hurley wants coming back. They've been in the 2-3 zone the last 2 or 3 minutes, and USF found some holes in it, not only around the rim, but going inside and then back outside on the perimeter.
Well, as great as UConn's done shooting from the field, they're 10 of 18 for the foul line, and USF takes that basket from Collins. 2 for 1 there, 6-point game, minute 25 left.
UConn's done a good job of eating up the clock, but they're not doing a good job of scoring. Here them running at the defender, and a little run and jump at the top, but Rideau reached in right in front of Joe Lindsay.
You could see that steal developing, right? But the foul occurred right before this here as Collins comes after Smith.
Now, Collins had the steal, but Rideau reached in and whacked him across the arm right before the turnover.
Oh boy, heads up. How about the biggest deficit that USF has overcome for a win this season? 13 versus UConn on January 2nd.
Here's the deal, though. UConn is not getting back and getting their defense set, whether it's a zone or man. Last possession, Collins just had his way all the way to the rim, and they have to sprint back and get their D set because USF is on the attack.
0 for 2 at the line for UConn. USF down by as many as 18, and they complete the comeback. Collins takes contact, shot rejected by Carlton. Fight for the rebound. Vitale had it. It's a jump ball between him and Kerr, and it's UConn possession.
Boy, a lot of contact on the drive with nothing called. Physicality. Carlton throwing his body around, protecting the rim. Look at this, out of the way. Something's going on there, and then a slap to the arm, and then a throwdown and a jump ball.
There's definitely a lot of contact, and it's coming down to this. 1 minute to go. 6-point game.
Block, charge, not sure, but it was something.
Yes.
Good job, little trap. Smith breaking the trap. What do they do?
3-on-1. Wilson. He finishes.
Great execution, attacking the zone, going to score.
Collins comes right back. Feeds Yetna. Here's a 3 from Brown. Oh, what a rebound from Rideau. Brown again, second try for 3. That's no good as well.
Boy, 2 wide open looks for Justin Brown. Brian Gregory can't ask for much more, but UConn did a great job attacking that pressure. Went middle and then flooded the court. Gave it up. Wilson, terrific job in transition finishing.
We're going to take a look at this, make sure they got it right. Going to say USF possession, but under 2 minutes in regulation and overtime. Can go to the monitor to look at the ball going out of bounds between a player for each team, and that's the case. So we'll make sure that it still is USF possession. 38.4 to go. I think they had it right in the first time there. Looks like, oh, we'll see. Thought maybe Vitale touched it last for UConn 1 there.
These officials must have early dinner reservations, Mike Corr, because they are letting everything go here in the last 3 minutes. I mean, there is a lot of bodies being thrown to the floor, and nothing is being called.
It stays with USF.
Look at Yetna just almost body slammed one of the UConn players going for that loose ball.
Got to get a quick 3 here, right? Got to get right back into this thing, a 3-pointer, make it a 5-point game.
Gonna make it a quick 3, but it's got to be a good one. You don't want to force it and make it contested. If they come out pressure, you just quickly get it to the rim. You've got 2 timeouts left, so you can set your press up.
Into Collins. Step back for 3. Yes! Over Polley. Tough shot. And it is a 5-point game. 34.4 remaining. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Here's the game reset for you. Still 2 timeouts left for UConn, 1 for USF. Possession arrow favors the Bulls if we get another jump. Both teams in a double bonus. And it's coming down to this, 34.4 seconds left. How about this big-time three here for the Bulls to keep them in it?
Well, Mike, we said they needed a three, but they needed a good three, and that's exactly what David Collins did. He just took his time. He created a little space off the bounce, and now USF will trap on the first pass immediately.
Patel. It's going to be a foul, and USF can't believe it. Coach Gregory.
Well, Yetna's been getting away with a lot of body bumps, but that time, a little push.
Now his left leg went right into him. There's no way your player falls out of bounds.
I'm not even sure if it was
contact,
Yetna. I think
right?
it was Kerr that got him out. I think they both did a good job of kneeing Vital. He didn't fall down like that on his own.
Right.
But if you're going to inbound it to somebody, I'd put it right in Christian Vital's hands. Not only because he's a solid free throw shooter, but also because he is tough as nails. He wants that basketball, and he is a confident player at the end of games.
He's a perfect 3 for 3 from the foul line in a game where UConn has not shot well from the stripe. They were 10 of 20 prior to that free throw. They're just over 52% now. That'll help the cause, though. 7-point game. 30 seconds to go. Rito goes quickly, gets fouled. He needed that. Instead, 2 free throws coming. Winner of this game gets the #1 seed, Houston Cougars, tomorrow in the quarterfinals. And a game we'll have for you at noon Eastern on ESPN2. We've got 3 more games to go here. This is round 1 today. Memphis and Tulane coming your way about 30 minutes at the conclusion of this game.
Well, USF's done everything pretty much perfectly down the stretch. They've attacked the rim. They've set up their pressure. They haven't forced shots, but UConn's just trying to hold on. They've got to get organized. They've done a pretty good job against the pressure, finding the open man. I think USF needs to foul until the ball comes over the half court. They can try to set up the press and see if they can get UConn to make a mistake.
Missed free throw. There'll be a foul on the Bulls. On a push, it's going to be on Kerr, and that's it for him.
Well, Brian Gregory said that Wilson violated before the shot, but the officials either ignored it or didn't see it because he stepped over into the lane as Rito was about to take the foul shot.
There's certainly 2 sides to everything for every single call that's been happening right to the end of this game here today.
A little push off, and that's definitely a foul on Kerr. But what Brian Gregory was saying is that Wilson violated before the free throw.
I mean, had USF not been down by 18 points, right, Tim? I mean, this run we'd probably be close to a tie ball game right
This
now.
is what Brian, you're correct. And what Brian Gregory is saying is that Sid Wilson stepped into the lane before the free throw, and that should have been a violation on the miss.
Understandable, but how many times is that usually called? I mean, you might have a point, but
don't stick up for your buddies, the officials. They made a mistake. We'll have none of that here. No pleasantries towards the stripes. No, they've done a good job today. They have, and again, we talked about it. The game's had a lot of different ebbs and flows, but one thing that has stayed constant, and it's been physical, hard-nosed defense, a lot of action around the rim, and that makes it a difficult game to officiate.
Yeah, and keeping it constant on both ends, which, like you said, it's going to be physical. It's going to be that type of game. It has been both ways.
Absolutely. USF keeps driving the ball to the rim. They're not forcing the threes. They need one, but Collins will take one here in the corner.
Now, tough one there for Collins, and a follow is there from Brown with 19.9 seconds to go.
Well, USF is not going back to Tampa quietly. They are not going back without a fight, and that's Brian Gregory at his best, trying to claw his way back into this game. And every time they did today, it was Christian Vital who answered for Connecticut, and he has been a man about town here in Memphis because he came right out of the locker room today, firing from deep downtown Memphis. He doesn't need a lot of room, and when he catches confidence out there on the floor, there's not many better from the three-point line. He's been more balanced this year and more selective in his three-point attempts, which has made him a much more effective player for Connecticut.
His career high is 7 3-pointers. He's got 6 today, 6 of 9 with the 24 and a perfect 4 for 4 from the stripe as well. Big reason why UConn is looking to advance to the quarterfinals to take on Houston.
And Hurley's just trying to get out of here, 19.9, and it's not easy because he's got his main guy on the bench and got a bunch of solid ball handlers, but nobody can really trust totally. So they have to play as a team against this pressure, and they've done a good job of spacing the court, trying to get it in, not throwing it right into that deep corner where the two bigs for USF can be really effective with the trap. They're trying to get it in kind of that short baseline and then go opposite middle and then get it up the floor before USF can foul or trap.
And if you're UConn and you hang on to this game and you end up winning, you're thinking, boy, we had such a sizable advantage. Look how hard they've had to work here towards the end of this one with all this energy. And you got Houston waiting in the wings tomorrow. Didn't think it was going to be this tough. Smith and a timeout, UConn.
And that's one of the few times UConn didn't look totally organized. And Dan drew up one of his special plays out in that timeout, but Terrence Smith just didn't run the baseline until the end of the clock, almost the end of the 5 count there, and he had to call the timeout.
Well, it's a good thing they got a decent amount of time in between sessions here today with the 2 games and then the next 2 of the night sessions, because this is really continuing to go on a lot longer in this contest here, almost a 2.5-hour battle here in game 1 today.
Well, we've done a lot of UConn games this year, and one thing you can't do is have early dinner reservations. They like to play physical basketball. There's going to be a lot of fouls, a lot of aggressive drives to the basket, and there we're seeing both teams a little cat and mouse with their timeouts down the stretch.
And some really good restaurants outside there at Hartford too, right? You know, West Hartford, you've been there? Some great spots.
I guess.
Yeah.
I'm usually in a basketball mode, though, Mike Corey. I'm not thinking about food. I'm thinking about press offenses and traps here, and they're going deep.
And it's broken up by Brown for USF, and now Collins. And they're going to call a travel. Boy, how about that, Tim? You had Vitale there. Could have been a blocking foul. Coach Gregory doesn't have anything else to say at that point.
Well, Dan Hurley can say something that was kind of a ridiculous decision by Terrence Smith to try to throw it over the top. I mean, you send the man deep as a decoy to stretch the defense, but you don't throw it. You do not throw the ball down the floor unless the man is wide open.
We got another foul. All right, so Rideau with his 4th. 13.7 to go. UConn just trying to seal this up here and move on to the quarterfinals.
Well, again, they got it in the man's hands that they needed to, and that's what they should have done on the press offense. Instead of Terrence Smith throwing it to a freshman down the floor and who wasn't even open, he should have found a way to get the ball to Christian Vitale.
Remember, Jalen Adams fouled out of this game for UConn. They had just a big lead, though, when he went out, so they're going to weather the storm. Second game back for him after missing 7 for the Huskies. Should be enough here now for UConn. The 3-pointer is blocked. Smith on the block of Collins' attempt. And with 8.2 seconds remaining, UConn getting ready to take on the #1 seed in the tournament tomorrow in the quarterfinals.
Well, Dan said nice block, but get away, because he doesn't want anything coming in the neighborhood of a foul there. And great elevation, though, by Smith.
Yetna trying to go back to Brown. UConn will take over and run this one out. But let's give a lot of credit to Brian Gregory and his USF team. Typical not only from last year when he first arrived, playing it out every single game. They do it again here today. Coming up a little bit shy, though, Tim, and a 9-win improvement from last year. The most wins in a season since 2011-12. Congrats to the Bulls on what they achieved this year.
Brown, Collins, Yetna, all good young players. Rideau will be back as well, the best defensive player in this conference. And You know, I'm seeing here with USF what Brian did at Dayton, just kind of built it from the bottom, just made sure that you got good young players, work on player development, good kids. He talks about what good people they are on and off the court. So they're built to last. They'll be back. Everyone talks about UConn will be back. Well, USF will be back. Wichita will be back. Memphis is definitely going to be back. This conference is built to last, and it's going to be bigger and better than ever next year.
Rideau with 1.9 to go, and that's going to be it. 80-73 the final. The UConn Huskies advance with a 7-point win over the USF Bulls to move on to the quarterfinals.
Well, gritty win for UConn. Everyone will talk and point to their three-point shooting in the first half, but it was their defense and their rebounding that they hung their hat on. That's what Dan Hurley wants. He's going to get a big test tomorrow against Houston.
13 three-pointers today for UConn, 2 off the tournament record, and they win it by 7. 25 points from Christian Vitale there for the Huskies. Big reason why they advance to play another game. That's all for us. We've got more action coming your way. Game 2 of 4. It's going to be Memphis and Tulane. Game 2, 30 minutes from right now. Well, let's set it here to College Basketball Live, ACC Coaches Roundtable, back with Game 2 in a half an hour.